I am so excited that you're speaking with us for this fantastic conference. You just heard from Emily and a few awesome tips and tricks from a brilliant product owner. And now we have another product owner, a good friend of mine, Sam Robson. He's going to be very humble, but I want to just tell you he has one of the best products out there. We love running his offer, and I really know he has so much to share with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys listening in, you have been thinking about creating your own offer, but you're not sure what to do. So Sam, you can share a bit about yourself. That would be wonderful. And then I'll let you get into your wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for thanks for having me, Anna. So today we're going to talk about how to launch a supplement offer for the first time. So a little bit about me. I've been around supplements in different forms for a little over 10 years. I really got into the supplement business specifically in earnest when I was 26, and I learned that I was never going to walk again. And we'll go into more of that story in a second. To take a step back, prior to that happening, I was a screenwriter and story development consultant in Hollywood. That was my first quote unquote career out of school. And then I became a health and fitness coach in Hollywood. I was working with actors, models, singers, even a world champion Call of Duty team that lived and trained at Justin Bieber's old house in the Hollywood Hills. I can't make stuff up. So a year before all this craziness happened, when I was 25, I got really, really, really sick. I was really sick for many months. My digestive system stopped working. My brain-gut connection got severed. I became allergic to pretty much every food on the planet. I'd never had a food allergy a day in my life before I was 25.
Wow.
And I went to the doctors, and they ran all the blood tests. They were all negative. And then they said, okay, the next step, stomach cancer. So don't tell me that. Well, it turns out it wasn't that. So they're like, okay, well, we'll get back to you. And they never did. I sent them emails. I left voicemails. I never heard from the doctors again. So I said, okay, I need to help myself. So being the supplement science nerd and researcher that I am, that I've been, since I was in school, I did my own research, and I created my own supplement and functional nutrition program on myself. And I healed myself without a doctor. I reversed my pretty much every single allergy, with the exception of alcohol and large amounts of certain types of dairy. I reversed every single allergy that had been developed. I restarted my digestive system, reconnected my gut and my brain. But as I was on the tail end of healing my gut condition, I had a training accident in the gym, and I microfractured my tibia, my knee on both sides, and I partially tore my calf. But I should have been healed in 6 to 8 weeks. Long story short, my foot was swollen at twice the size of the other. It was dark purple. I was in excruciating pain I'd never experienced before. And I actually ended up developing an ultra rare, chronic, and incurable neurological nerve condition called reflexive sympathetic dystrophy. It is the most painful chronic pain condition in the world. And according to the McGill Pain Index that doctors use to measure the level of their patient's pain, it's actually objectively more painful than childbirth, amputation, and most forms of cancer. So that's what I was dealing with. So my nerves had hijacked my brain. They were sending permanent pain signals to my pain receptors, even though my injuries had actually technically healed. But it felt like my foot through my leg was shattered and on fire at all times. The scary part was it had actually spread to my non-injured side, which means it becomes hyper-progressive. And I was on pace to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life within about 2 years. And everything the doctors wanted to do to help me, I didn't really want to do, because it was super dangerous stuff that would have kind of made my body worse. But I knew this was a life-altering event, so I needed to do everything I could. But I couldn't even do that, because these doctors, the universe, has its ways, right? These doctors actually never got back to me either. They never responded to my emails, my voicemails. These were doctors I was referred to, doctors I sought out. I mean, it was crazy stuff. So I was like, okay, I just healed myself of something crazy that doctors couldn't help me with a few months ago. Let's just do it again. So went back to the drawing board. I developed a new supplement program and functional nutrition program on myself. I healed myself within about 6, 7 weeks, which thinking about it now is like crazy how fast it was. And I taught myself how to walk again. But that was just kind of the beginning. So once that happened, even though I had technically gotten rid of this condition, my body had broken down so much during this period. Like I lost like 70, 75% of the muscle mass on my left leg within about 2 months, which is just insane. Like it looked like it literally looked like it belonged to like a 4 or 5 year old child. My right leg looked like it belonged to like, professional football player. It was crazy, the difference. And the same thing had happened with my shoulder too, because I had a shoulder injury. So I ended up being injured for about a year and a half straight, just in chronic pain every day, not from the condition, but just from the injuries. My body had become so unstable. At that time, I was transitioning my in-person health and fitness coaching business to a digital info business. And I had to learn copy and write on my copy and build the funnel and, do the media buying and the customer support and creating the product. I was doing everything myself, and then I started studying email marketing and realized I could help a lot more people and make a bigger impact, helping existing businesses reach more people than I could just trying to start this vision business doing everything on my own. So my copy business, which started on the email side, started taking off, and all of these weird things were happening with my body. Like I was 26, 27, I think 26, and my body stopped producing testosterone. I was getting sick all the time. My immune system stopped working. Like I'd get a cold, like literally like every other week. And if I got the flu, I'd be out for like 6, 7 weeks instead of like the typical, week and a half to 2 weeks that you normally have the flu for. Other crazy stuff, like I'd be in a caloric deficit and trying to do like high intensity like bike intervals several days a week, but I was gaining weight and getting bloated somehow. My energy was awful. I had sleep problems since I was 10, but this was like the worst sleep of my life. Well, it turns out that stress was actually the cause of all of that. Stress was shutting my body down between being in serious pain all day, every day, starting a brand new business, interfacing and managing with clients, writing the copy, managing the results, all of that stuff. It was just overwhelming. And so I started taking some stress and adrenal support supplements, and they helped a little bit, but I wasn't all the way back to where I really needed to be. So I started doing my own research as, the supplement science nerd that I am. And I started taking different ingredients and experimenting here and there. And as all this was happening, because this wasn't like a 2-week process, right? This was an extended period of time. I transitioned into long form copy, doing full funnels, and I worked with many of the multi 7, 8, and 9-figure supplement companies that you're probably aware of. I won't name any names, but you're definitely familiar with a lot of these brands. And while that was happening, I started dialing in these products without even knowing I was creating products. So with the sleep and stress solutions I was just creating for myself, I ended up creating Exhale PM and Exhale, which are my company, Health and Happiness Labs, sleep and stress support products on myself. And then I realized, well, I've been writing copy and selling supplements for all these big companies, and I've created products that I know really work because I know how and why I created them, the science behind them. And I had a pretty dire situation and they were working great for me, so I was like, well, they're definitely going to work for other people too. And that's kind of how the Exhale line and Health and Happiness Labs was born. So what I do now is I co-own Health and Happiness Labs, which owns the Exhale line with my business partners. I'm a partner in a health and fitness technology company that also has supplements customized through DNA. And I also have a supplement consulting business where I help existing offer owners formulate new products, new SKUs, and I help first-time offer owners with everything that they need: formulation, finding the right manufacturer, getting the right fulfillments, actually getting workarounds with purchase orders and inventory, so they don't actually have to pay for the inventory up front, but they can still have their own products. We'll get into that in a bit. insurance, compliance, labels, all that jazz. So why do I do what I do? The supplements, they literally, they saved my life. They really did. They've saved my health many, many times. I've seen them do the same for a lot of other people. They are medicine. Health supplements are medicine when they are done right, and they should be treated that way. So during my copy career, I saw a lot of offers that did really well, and companies who had their marketing dialed in and they had really good products. I also saw a lot of offers that did really well. Companies were quote unquote crushing it. And when I saw their products and the quality of their products, what was in them, I absolutely cringed. Like, because these products were just not good, and there's no way that they could make the promises that they were making in their copy. There was just no way it was possible. And with everything that I've experienced, I just feel like it's my responsibility. It's my duty, really, frankly, my obligation to help business owners, aspiring offer owners get the best quality products out there in the market. All right, so how to start a supplement offer. There's a lot more that goes into it than simply copy and what kind of supplement you're selling. Most people that I talk to who are trying to start a supplement offer for the first time think, oh, I'm just going to do this kind of product, and I'm just going to pick it, and then we'll write some copy, and then we're good. No. One thing you will learn is copy is simply it's an important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And as a longtime copywriter, I can tell you this. It's an important piece of the puzzle, but it's a very, 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 very small piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting a supplement offer off the ground for the first time. As I mentioned with some of the things that I help my clients with, you have formulation, you have manufacturing, fulfillment, label design, FDA compliance. You want to have Nutra experienced mids and payment processors because these are ingestible products, right? These are products people are consuming and putting in their bodies. So there's inherently a higher level of risk involved there.
Yeah.
And also because of that, chargebacks and refunds tend to be higher than with, say, info products or some other type of physical product. You definitely want to have dietary supplement insurance. You can technically piggyback off of your manufacturer's insurance, but I would 100% recommend having your own dietary supplement insurance because you're the one selling the products. You're the one who needs to be covered. There's a horror story my accountant shared with me when we were first starting Health and Happiness Labs about someone he had worked with in the past who had some sort of nutrition bar. I think they had like a kosher PARV certification label on their wrapper, but they were missing a piece of the certification requirements. And they didn't have their own insurance. They were just piggybacking, and they ended up getting sued for like $10-15 million, and the company went under. So obviously you don't want that to happen. But these parts, that first part I mentioned is important though. What kind of supplement are you going to sell? What are you going to make? Once you've determined what that product is, and we'll get into a little bit of how to make that determination in just a second, you have an important decision ahead of you. So to white label on demand or not to white label on demand, that is the question. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to launch a supplement for the first time, so this is especially true for first-time supplement offer owners, is the idea that their only option is to white label on demand when that's just not true. Now, going white label on demand can be an amazing option and direction for a lot of folks, and we'll go into what those situations are in just a second. But for other people, it may not be the best move. So if you're not familiar with this process, white label on demand is there are companies out there. I've worked with a couple of them, but there's a handful of companies out there that have these kind of generic stock products in serious bulk and volume. And what they do is they put your label on their product, and then they fulfill the product and ship it out on demand. So you're only paying as you go, as opposed to having to place a purchase order, a large purchase order upfront. Now, like I said, there are some situations where this is a great move and a perfect option for a lot of folks just starting out. And there's other situations where it may not be the best move. And it really depends on the resources that you have, what your goals are, the products themselves that you're trying to sell, a lot of different things, and we'll get into that. So situations where it makes sense to go white label on demand. One's if you're seriously low on cash, right? Like if you're really eager to get your supplement off the ground, but you don't have the money to invest in inventory, because your purchase orders, depending on a variety of factors, including MOQs. So in the supplement industry, like in direct response, there's a lot of 3-letter acronyms. MOQs are minimum order quantities. So that's the lowest amount of units that you can order. Many manufacturers, their MOQs are 5,000 units. I work with some where you can get down to like 1,000 or 2,500 units. But the fewer units you buy, the more expensive your per unit cost is. And then you have the quality of the formulation, the raw materials that are being used, the availability of those raw materials, the forms of those raw materials. For instance, with like ashwagandha, there are 2 trademarked and patented forms of ashwagandha that are potentially more powerful than just regular ashwagandha, but those branded forms also have more studies and credibility that you can utilize and leverage, but it's more expensive than just traditional ashwagandha, right? And then the dosages of those ingredients, all of those things are going to impact your purchase order, your cost of goods, your purchase order price, which could be anywhere from $8,000 to 6 figures, depending on the quality of the product. What goes into the ingredients. Is it a premium? Is it a super premium product? Is it not? How many units? All that sort of thing. So like you can understand why some people might not want to start off investing all of that money. But I've had clients go both ways. Some want to invest in inventory up front, others don't, and we'll by the end of this we'll go over how you can actually get the best of both worlds if that's what you're looking for. But if you don't have a lot of cash that you want to spend up front or invest up front, doing white label on demand can allow you to have a product, not have to worry about manufacturing, not have to worry about crazy fulfillment costs or a ton of inventory constraining your cash flow or anything like that. Another situation where it can make sense to go white label on demand, if you're just looking for proof of concept. So some people don't want to invest in launching a supplement so they know with as close to absolute, quote unquote, absolute certainty as they can get in the direct response industry that the product's going to sell to their existing audience, quote unquote, traffic, which makes sense. But there is an alternative proof of concept strategy that I share with people, and that's using an email or Facebook group survey to your existing audience. It saves time, also saves money, because while going white label on demand, you're just paying as you go. Most of these companies do require minimums that you need to maintain from a payment perspective in order to keep going. And they're not anywhere close to what you would be investing in a purchase order, but it's not completely free, right? But this strategy is. So you do a Facebook group or an email survey to your existing audience. And let's say there's 4 different types of products that you're considering making. You'd say, would you buy, or we're looking to make a product that helps with X for this price. Would you buy this? Yes or no? Nice. We're looking to make a product that helps with Y for this price. Or would you buy this? Yes or no? And so on and so on. The one note there is you want to make sure that the price is uniform, that the price is the same throughout the survey. You don't want to be like, oh, well, we're looking to make a product that helps with energy for $43. Would you buy this? Yes or no? We're looking to make a product that helps support healthy thyroid function for $97. Would you buy this? Yes or no? You want to make sure the price is not a factor in what you are presenting to your existing audience when you're getting this survey data. And this is really great because they're literally telling you what they will buy and what they won't buy. And this is important because a lot of times what you think they're going to buy is not actually what they want to buy. Yeah. We've learned this lesson a lot. And there's actually a third situation where it can make sense to go white label on demand, but this is more for existing product owners, offer owners, brand owners specifically. So this is when you have, you have 1 or 2 flagship products that are custom formulated products. They're your rock stars, the foundation of your business, and you want to build out your catalog a bit more so you have more products that you can remarket to your existing customers. but you don't want to invest in, all these new products at once. A lot of brands do this where they'll have, their one or two flagship products that they had custom formulated. They have, a handful of white label products. And then when they find a winner out of those white label products, like one is getting really good results for their customers, people are buying it a lot, it's doing well, then they can invest in doing a custom formulated version of that product, whatever it may be. Okay. Sorry. There are also some downsides to going white label on demand. And that's that you don't have control over your formulation, right? So, these companies, they'll admit like, hey, we're just in the volume game, and these formulations are, we want them to work pretty well, but they're pretty kind of standard, generic. There's nothing inherently special about them. Because of that, no, you have control over the formulation, but it's likely not optimized and customized for your specific audience and customers, and the pain points you're looking to help them solve the way you're trying to help them. And because of that, it's likely going to lack market differentiators. You're not going to be able to stand out in a crowded market, right? Like, what makes this immune support product different than all the other immune support products out there? And finding a truly unique mechanism for your copy becomes much more difficult when you don't have control over your formulation and you're just using a formulation that's pretty standard that a ton of other people are using as well. So I'll use one of our products, Health and Happiness Labs, as an example. So with Exhale PM, when I created this product, I was looking through all of the research I could find about stress and what triggers the stress response in the body and the brain. And it turns out it's actually a trio of hormones that set off the stress response. Well, it turns out those three hormones are also the exact same ones that wake us up in the middle of the night, keep us from falling asleep at night, impact our REM and deep sleep. And so I reverse engineered it. And it's like, okay, well, what if there's ways to regulate the release of these hormones for both products, which there are, but then also add ingredients that are known to make those defense mechanisms even stronger to help regulate the mind, the body, the nervous system, help it all wind down so you can easily relax and fall asleep at night, and also help promote deeper sleep as is, right? So we call these hormones in our VSL sleep blockers. And then there's a whole, other mechanism around that, because that's kind of what they are. But you're not going to be able to do that if it's just a kind of, standard formula where it's like, here's some bunch of L-theanine and a bunch of melatonin, and that's it, which is what a lot of sleep products are, right?
Yep.
The next point here is if it can be 5 different things, it's none of them. So I don't remember exactly which company I saw had this, but I've looked at a lot of white label catalogs over the years because these companies still have, catalogs of all of their different products that you can choose from, different categories. And some of them have products listed in multiple categories. So they'll say, like, you could call this an energy product. You could call this an immune support product. You could call this a gut health product. You could call this a blood sugar product. No. There's no way that if you're truly making the best energy product you can, or if you have the best gut health product you can, make that it can be all of these things. If you want to address a certain aspect of gut health, make a product to address that certain aspect of gut health. Don't just take something that could be one of any number of things and just say, oh, well, we could say it's this or we could say it's that. That's BS. Yeah. It's complete BS. So why are formulations so important? From my perspective, my personal opinion, they should be your first, second, and third concern when launching a supplement offer. It doesn't matter if it's your first or if you've been doing it for years. Yeah. I kind of touched on it a little bit a second ago. A ton of supplements out there have really great marketing, but their formulations are seriously lacking. And this is a huge problem. I can't tell you how many VSLs, I won't name names, but there's a lot of these huge offers that are crushing it. So everyone needs to do what they're doing. That there is absolutely no way on planet Earth their products can fulfill the promises that are made in their copy. Physiologically impossible. And most of these offer owners know that. and yet they're still making all of these crazy, crazy claims. And this is a huge, huge problem for, I shouldn't even have to say it, but unfortunately I do. What I'm going to share may be a controversial opinion. I believe this very, very strongly. You can probably hear it in my voice. If you're only starting a supplement offer to make money and that's it, do us all a favor, yourself included, and pick another type of offer. Now, we're all entrepreneurs here. We're all capitalists. We all want to make money. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You want to be in a business just to make money? There's nothing wrong with that. But there is if it's in the supplement industry.
Yeah.
And here's why. We have a responsibility to help people as much as we can, right? And there are a lot of supplements out there that help people. I've experienced this firsthand. There's also a lot that don't help people. And believe it or not, even with some of these, rock star offers, there are a lot of supplements that in some cases actually hurt people. They harm them. So if you want to launch a supplement offer just to make money and you don't want to truly help people at the same time, just pick another kind of offer, because you're messing with people's health and their lives here, right? They're putting your products in their body. This is their health and well-being you're talking about. It's not right to do that. It's not worth it to cut those corners. And I shouldn't have to say it, but unfortunately, I've just seen it so much over the years, and I still see it today that it has to be said. So there are a few other problems with average or subpar formulas. One, those products aren't making the difference they can make, right? And as someone who's literally saved his health and saved his life multiple times with supplements and seen the same happen with a lot of other people, I take this really seriously, and you should too. Another point here is, everyone here is really talented at one or many aspects of direct response marketing, right? You got marketing and copy and sales and traffic and funnels and customer acquisition. We're all good at that stuff, right? That's why we're here. So we have the ability to literally reach millions of people. It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility as an industry to use that power for good, not for evil. So we can change thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of lives for the better. A couple of years ago, I was listening to Craig Clemens talk, the head of Golden Hippo. Right. And he said something that really resonated with me. He said, when you can crack cold traffic, you can change the world. He didn't say, when you can crack cold traffic, you can make a ton of money. Now, that's true if you're doing things the right way and scaling properly. But he said, when you can crack cold traffic, you can change the world. So if you have something that really, really works from a customer results perspective, and you're able to reach all of these people, you can make a huge impact. And then those people go to more people and more people and more people. And there's this exponential, ripple effect where so many people are being positively impacted by your products. And in just a second, I'll go into what that means for you and your business. And I actually saw this in action in my real life, my personal life. So one day my mom was watching a Golden Hippo VSL. She didn't know it was a VSL. She ended up buying the product. And she has been on auto ship with that product every month for the last 4+ years. And I've had products that I've been on auto ship with for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, all with different products. Now, the average retention rate for auto ship, I think it's roughly 2 to 4 months. My mom's been on for over 48 months and is going to be on this product probably for the rest of her life. It's not because it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Right? It's because it actually works. It actually gets her the results she's looking for. And yes, Golden Hippo has world-class copy. They have, celebrity faces for their brands and a lot of credibility there. But they also have high-quality products that actually get people results. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that they're, that they have $1 billion valuation or whatever it is. It's not. Yeah. So when you skimp on formulations, you're selling yourself short, but you're also selling your customers short, right? Yeah. Because when you skimp on formulations, your supplement company, your brand, it's not going to grow to the level that it could or the level that it can't. It just won't. You might make a ton of money up front, but as soon as people start realizing that your product's not delivering the way on what you said it would, it's going to fall off. You might make a bunch in a few months, but then it just vanishes and disappears. And then all of that goodwill that you've built up, all of those customers you've acquired, they're going to leave you. And now, especially in, the social media age and the internet age, they're going to share their thoughts and feelings on your products. I know this. I see it. I see it every single day, right? This is really, really important.
Yeah.
You won't be able to help as many people as you're capable of helping. And remember, that's what we're ultimately here for. Like the true definition of an entrepreneur isn't someone who's going to make as much money as they can, however they can, no matter what they do to people. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers, right? It's our responsibility as entrepreneurs to create a solution and solve a problem for people in ways that they can't solve themselves, right? And you won't be able to help as many people as you can if your products are lacking. But you also won't make as much money as you're capable of making as a result of having products that aren't really well thought out, right? So there's a little flow here. So the higher quality products you have, the better results you get for your customers. The better results you get for your customers, the more reorders and rebills you get. The more reorders and rebills you get, the higher your customer lifetime value. And the higher your customer lifetime value, the more money your supplement product makes, and the longer you can stay in business. So because I have my hand in a few different businesses, and with everywhere that I operate, there's a couple of key points that I really try to live by, and I share this with people frequently. And that's that, one, I believe in long-term relationships, not transactions. And two, it has to be a win-win. If everyone involved in a situation is not, or a partnership is not benefiting, what's the point? There is no point. Don't waste your time. So when you have high quality products and everything that we're talking about here happens and comes true, your income increases. Your customer lifetime value increases, growing your business, making you money, all while your customer's quality of life increases at the exact same time. It is a win-win. Eben Pagan, who's a pretty well-known 9-figure entrepreneur, said something. I heard him say this several years ago. And I'm maybe paraphrasing a little bit, but it really, really stuck with me. And it has to this day. He said, if you start a business just to make money, you'll fail, and you'll fail miserably. If you start a business to create a good product or service, you can be successful and sometimes very successful. But if you start a business to genuinely change people's lives for the better, there's no limit to how successful you can be. And that's what we're talking about here. So from my perspective, having a high quality product, it's really the ultimate competitive advantage, because the higher quality product is, the more people you can attract to your business, the more customers you can attract to your business, the more strategic partners you can attract to your business to grow your company, to grow your product, to grow your brand, the more people you can attract to endorse what you're doing. All of that comes down to how well your product actually works. I'll give you an example in our business. So there's a triple board certified doctor who won the Functional Medicine Doctor of the Year Award and the Regenerative Medicine Practice of the Year Award, who personally endorses our company's products. He endorses XLPM and Exhale. Not only does he endorse them, he takes them both. Not only does he take both products, but he literally carries them in his practice and recommends them to his patients who need help with stress support and sleep support. Why? Because he knows the products work very well. He knows why they work well. He knows what went into them, how they were designed, and he's not gonna recommend just anything. Like, he's not out here to make a buck. He's in the business of helping people who have not been able to find solutions with any other doctors, and they're at a medical crossroads, right? To me, I take that really, really seriously. I've had people in the direct response health space, without naming names, come up to me and say, hey, your sleep products are the best products that we've tried. I have other people in direct response say, we work with all these different products every year, and your products are the only ones we share with the people that we love. They're the only ones we'll share with our family members, our friends, our significant others. Now, I'm not saying this to brag or make our product sound great. I'm telling you this because I want you to think about something for a second. What kind of impact can this type of feedback have on your company, your brand, if you have hundreds or thousands, maybe even millions of people singing your product's praises like this? Like, just think about it. And then, like with what Craig Clemens was saying, you're able to crack cold traffic, right? Or even, you're on email and you're scaling email.
Yeah.
But you're reaching all of these people every day, and you're getting all of these people these amazing results. Just think about what that's actually going to do for you, right? Your reach, your income, the true impact, not like impact as a buzzword, the true impact you're actually making on people's lives, they all skyrocket. So that's the formulation piece. There's a lot more that we could go into there, but there's a few other things that I want to touch on. So going back to the whole white label on-demand conversation, there's a really big appeal of going white label on demand for first-time offer owners, and that's no cash up front for inventory, which is a huge, huge, huge deal. Like I said, I've had clients who I work with who they want to pay for all the inventory themselves up front, and others who don't, right? It really depends on your situation.
Right.
And like I said, this can make a lot of sense, right? You don't have all this inventory constraining your cash flow. It takes a lot of stress off of you because, purchase orders can be, like I said, they can be, 5 figures, they can be 6 figures. It can be a large investment, right? And you don't have to deal with that, which is great. But the downside is when you do that, in most cases, you don't have control over your formulation. You're just picking a product from a catalog, and then you have some of the issues that we just talked about. But there are ways around it. This problem. It's what I did for my company. It's what I help some of my clients do as well. And that's finding comprehensive fulfillment partners. So my definition of a comprehensive fulfillment partner is a fulfillment partner who does more than simply fulfill the product and do printing, of labels and inserts. They offer more comprehensive services. They're able to support you in much more comprehensive ways. This could be accounting. This could be tech and web development and dev team. So they can actually make changes to your funnels and stuff like that if you don't have a dev team and you're just kind of starting out. Customer support on demand, so you don't have to outsource to another agency or something like that, right? Keeping things in-house. The biggest needle mover I've found, though, is finding and securing comprehensive fulfillment partners who are willing to offer inventory or on-demand support, which is what leads to what I call the hybrid model, right? So there's going white label on demand. There's the custom route, but then you have a big purchase order of inventory. The way on-demand support, as I call it, works is this. When you have the right relationships, that fulfillment partner will actually purchase the inventory for you. They will place the purchase order on your behalf. And you only pay as you go for the units that you sell. So let's say, for example, your product costs are, let's say it's $5 a unit. And let's say, it's the end of the month. You're just starting at the end of the month, and, you're just doing a test, and you sell 10 units, right? On your invoice, you're only paying for those 10 units that you've sold. You're not paying for the other 4,990 that are in your purchase order, or the other 10,000 that are in your purchase order, right? You're only paying for the units that you've sold. Difference being, instead of paying, $5 a unit, you'll pay something like, let's say, $6 a unit, so that they can, make up for the risk that they took for, having invested in fronting you the inventory, right? But this allows you to have what I call, in the hybrid model, the best of both worlds. Because in this instance, you have a high quality, custom formulated product, and you didn't have to spend 5 figures, 6 figures upfront for your purchase order and your inventory. And you can now either, if you don't have many resources, you don't really, you're in a much better position, or you can free up that capital to invest in other things like your copy or your marketing or traffic or consulting or, you know, in endorsements, whatever it may be, right? So this can be a huge, huge, huge game changer. Next thing I want to talk about really briefly is compliance, because obviously compliance can be, I mean, we could have countless
Its own
talks.
talk.
Oh yeah, but just a couple important notes here. So obviously, you know, your copy's got to be compliant, but it's more than your copy. It's your labels too. One thing some folks, it surprises me that people aren't always aware of this, but what goes on your labels and how things are laid out and formatted and what you say on your labels are just as important for compliance as your copy, arguably. You need to make sure you have the right warnings on there, the right format for ingredients. Certain types of ingredients actually need to be laid out a specific way. The claims that you make on your label, all of these things fall under the umbrella of compliance as well. And even that can potentially, if they're not compliant, like that's why one of the things I help my clients with also is, you know, writing their labels up and then making sure that we have the proper resources to have FDA compliance reviews before the labels are even printed, which is, you know, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's really important. You can actually, like, your ability to get on certain e-commerce platforms can be impacted depending on some of the claims you make on your labels. So that's a really, really important note. Obviously, you know, when it comes to your copy, like back in the school days, you want to make sure that you cite your sources, but you need to make sure that the studies you cite line up. So the studies to support claims that you're making need to use dosages that are equal to or less than what you have in your formula. Here's what that means. So let's say, for example, you want to make the claim that L-tyrosine can help regulate and manage cortisol, which it can, and it does. Mm-hmm. Great. You find a study that supports that claim. Like, awesome, I'm going to use this study. But let's say, for example, the study uses 150 milligrams of L-tyrosine, but your formulation only has 50 or only has 100. Well, that study is not actually in compliance with the claims you're making because the dosages do not add up. So you always want to make sure that the dosages are in those studies are at the very least as much as the dosages in your formulation or less than, so that what's in your formulation is actually more than what this study says achieves this certain outcome. It's really, really important. I know it's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it's simple. You know, especially when it comes to products that people are putting in their bodies, you want to make sure you're doing everything the right way. Yep. And then once you have that stuff handled, then you can focus on creating your marketing assets, writing your copy, building out your funnel, securing traffic, like with Anna and the amazing team over at MaxWeb. And then you can get to the quote unquote, you know, fun stuff that you love. I mean, to me, everything I just talked about is fun, but I'm weird. That's why I'm here talking about this. So if you have any questions, or you know, you want to chat about anything, you want to connect, you know, you want to explore potentially working together, you can find me on Facebook, or you can email me at sam@healthandhappinesslabs.com, and I'm more than happy to help however I can. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what to focus on when you're starting a supplement offer for the first time.
Awesome. I honestly learned so much. I got the pleasure of chatting with Sam before, naturally, but honestly, I always learned so much, and I'm so grateful you were comfortable touching upon some points that we all think it, but maybe it's not, comfortable, or it's not politically correct to bring it up. But truth is, you're right. There are many other ways to make money online. But if you just want to make money, supplements should not be the way into it. And I think it's so beautiful and brilliant that you brought that up, because, obviously that's very important to us. The offers that we can scale are the ones that we believe in. And I'm sure for the long run, all the super affiliates believe that too. So thank you so much for, for saying that, because I know all of us think it and we shouldn't say it, but conferences like this, it's free for you guys to be here. We want to give you some information that we actually believe in. So thank you so much, Sam. You're wonderful. You're a rock star, and we are so honored to be working with you. And I know we're gonna make the offer be the best we ever ran.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you again. And you guys, stay tuned for the next speaker. And if you have any questions, we will add Sam's email again for you guys. And he's so wonderful about getting back to everyone. All right. Have a good one, Sam. Thank you again.